Hello, all my fellow truth seekers, all those tuning in. Welcome to another edition of Broome Up Front. I'm Malachi Marks today, and we are here to interview Zak Nulton about what it was like to live in an era of culture, aka boomer culture, and the difficulties she had when she did that we do not.
First of all, it was a non-technical era. We didn't have cell phones. The phones themselves were party lines, so 2 or 3 other people could listen at any time to your conversations. We didn't have calculators, so we actually had to do math in our head. And then we also didn't have a color TV. It was all black and white, and it was a really small little picture.
What was life like for you as a child?
I think it was okay. I had pretty good parents, but we were poor. So I certainly got made fun of many a time for my clothes and shoes and so forth. And that today has been worse, I think, for kids than it was when I was in school.
Well, as a grandmother, how does your life as a child compare to your grandson's life nowadays?
I would say my childhood was simple. Today, it's not simple at all. Kids have phones at a very young age. There's bullies. We never had that kind of stuff in school. People make fun of you for whatever reason. And sometimes they don't even need a reason. The social media is a problem, I think, worldwide, because kids get on there, spend too much time, and then they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
Well, how was it with your transportation nowadays compared to when you went to school? Now, how kids go to school now?
We always had to take the bus. Nobody had a car. And we stood out in the rain, snow, sleet, and we got on the bus. We had to take a bus home. There was no getting off any other time. And, excuse me, we didn't have absences much at all. We were not sick much, and we pretty much had good attendance.
Well, an interesting question I have is, how was lunches back then for you than it is kids nowadays in school?
It was horrible. The meatloaf, you didn't really know if that was actual meat. Mashed potatoes were like rocks, and then you weren't allowed to have anything but white milk, no chocolate or flavored milk, and it was pretty bad.
How is it reason? All right. Well, that seems to be all the time we have for today. Stay tuned for an interview and find out about the old Texas, what really went down on the age of the boomers.
Okay.
Coming up after Broome Up Front.
Emo dressed up as Fred Durst has stolen the president's secret anime collection. And I think our agency wants you two to do a job. You can count on us, Chief. Right, Evil Boy?
Yeah. The greatest action movie of all time.
Goggles, the stuff that's behind us is about to explode. We need to get out of here.
I know, Emo Boy, but you should hang on, because we're about to go fast.
Insert explosion here.
Catch Eddie Fabrizio as Goggles.
Oh no, a white rapper. Whoa, I'm whipping up the stop like I'm Tommy DeVito. Yeah, I got a big gun like it is Valorant. Bow, bow, bow. I must use my special ability. Power fingers on. Yeah, I'm gonna hit you like I'm Cedric Mullen. Then I'm gonna knock you up like I'm Mike Tyson. Oh, shucks, I'm dead.
And Eddie Fabrizio as Emo Boy in...
You can't beat me, because you don't know me. I'm from the rough timeshares of South Florida. Wait, hold on. My grandpa has a timeshare in South Florida. Wait, you're Steven's grandson? That means you're Willis Bruce. Wait, something came to my mind. My Chemical Romance is kind of poopy. You do not talk about My Chemical Romance that way!
Where are you going? I'm going on the Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
Goggles and Nemo Boy.
Do as this, and I'll retrieve the president's anime back. Just keep rolling. Ah!
Welcome back, everyone, to Broome Up Front. Let's turn to Michelle, who is going to tell us about Texas and the age of the black and whites.
Very good. Thank you for having me. My girlfriend and I decided to go to Houston, Texas. It was the big boom town in the 70s. There weren't a lot of jobs through America, and Houston was hiring everyone from everywhere. Consequences, that ended up being a problem, and the unintentional results of that was that crime was very, very high. At the hospital that was downtown, it was near the 4th Ward, and that was the worst part of the city. They used to call the hospital the Hole because that's really what it ended up being with all the gunshot wounds and so forth. After we got there, it was certainly so different than what we had thought. It was cold, as in people were not warm, friendly. We had a great concern over our safety. The hospitals had fencing around with razor wire on top of the fence for the parking lot.
Well, let's try to, what's about the living expenses and how the living conditions were in the buildings that you had?
We had new apartment buildings, except that when you went there, you had to pay 3 months advance in your rent. It was very nice, had pool, everything. There were no standards, and the people that lived upstairs from me had a pet monkey. So that attracted cockroaches like you can't believe.
Well, we have some pictures here. Would you like to describe these for us, how
Yes.
it was in Texas?
This is downtown Houston in the 1970s, before the big boom. You can see there's a few skyscrapers. The rest here is really undeveloped. The hospital, originally built in 1919, was still there with a lot of new improvements. In 1978, they got a facelift, and behind here you can see that there's another whole story, and offices and operating room was there. We had 14 operating rooms, and we were busy all the time.
Would you like to tell us one of the stories you had in the hospital?
Yes. One of the stories was I picked going to the surgical unit. During my orientation, the first 3 weeks, no one spoke to me, and people pretty much ignored me. What I realized in the end was I was the 4th white person there. Everyone else was black or Hispanic. And before me, there had been a nurse from New York City who was very rude to everyone, and especially with racial slurs. So after that, I complained to my orientation nurse, and I said I hated it there. I was not going to stay. And so we all had a meeting, and everything turned out very well. So they figured out that I was not the racist person the other one was.
Well, a groundbreaking question that everyone would like to know. Would you move back to Texas on how it is now, or did you prefer that it was when you lived there?
I would never move back there. I didn't like it when I was there. You had to be so careful. All the girls carried mace to make sure people weren't attacking them. There were people on the corners, guards, off-duty policemen for change of shifts. If you stayed later than your normal shift, you called them and they escorted you to your car.
Well, thank you for letting us know. I would appreciate that. Thank you. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing the story, and thank you for all of you tuning in to this enlightened edition of Broome Up Front. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears open, and stay safe. See you on the next edition of Broome Up Front.